Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. This lesson is to do with small angle approximations. What that means is that as long as you're dealing in radians and as long as the angle is small, then if you ever have to work out the sine of an angle, then you don't even need to put it into your calculator. The answer will just be the angle itself. Similarly for tan, if you need to work out the tan of an angle, then again, you don't even need to put it into your calculator. The answer will be the angle itself. For cos theta, it's not so easy, but still not that hard either. The cosine of an angle, cos of an angle, will be roughly equal to 1 take away the angle squared over 2. With numbers, very, very easy. So if I was talking about sine of 0. If I said the angle was 0.1, then all I'm saying is that the sine of 0.1 would just be roughly 0.1. Tan of 0.1 would be roughly 0.1. And the cosine of 0.1, an angle of 0.1, would be equal to 1 take away 0.1 squared over 2. It looks harder, but it's still just as easy if I replace theta with sine of 2 theta, or 3 theta, or 4 theta, whatever you like. Because all we're saying is that the sine of the angle is just like the angle itself, then this would just mean that the sine of 2 theta, the answer would just be 2 theta. Remember, this only works in radians, and it only works for when the angle is small. Okay, let's try a couple of examples. So first example here is to work out the roughly, this isn't exact, it's just approximate. What would the answer be to sine 2 theta plus tan theta all over 2 theta? So let's write that out a bit bigger. Sine of 2 theta plus tan of theta all over 2 theta. While I'm writing that out and just filling in the thetas, try to think what were the approximations that I just showed you to see how good your memory is. We're going to need one for sine, we're going to need one for tan. The cosine one we'll probably use in the next example. But hopefully you remember what they were. Let's have a quick look. So these are the two that we're going to need. Okay, I'll just stick them there. So let's use them. All it's saying is that the angle, the sine of the angle is just like the angle. So here I can replace sine of 2 theta, can all get replaced for just 2 theta. And then similarly, tan of theta can get replaced with just theta. The plus sign in between will stay as a plus. So I've got 2 theta from the sine of 2 theta plus a theta. 2 theta plus theta makes 3 theta. So I can write 3 theta at the top. I've got theta on the top, theta on the bottom, they cancel. So I'm just left with 3 over 2, which is 1.5. So I can say this would work out to be roughly 1.5. That's it. Let's go to the next example. We've got cos of 4 theta minus 1 over theta times sine of 2 theta. Let's write that down and you think of what were the approximations that are going to help us. Hopefully you remember the sine theta one, that's definitely going to be needed. And then the cos one, slightly more complicated, but it's still okay to work with. So let's grab the ones we need. We need the sine and the cos one. Don't really need the tan one. Okay, let's grab them. And now let's try to use it. So let's go with the easy one first. Sine theta is approximately theta. So this sine 2 theta, we can delete that and just put 2 theta there instead. So that's going to be times by 2 theta. The cos 4 theta is not so easy, so it's going to be the 1 take away and then 4 theta all in brackets squared. Let me write this down. So 1 will just be 1 take away and then in brackets 4 theta squared over 2. 4 theta squared, if you remember from the work you did in binomial expansions, that that square applies to both the 4 and the theta. So that'll be 16 theta squared at the top. So I'll have 1 minus 16 theta squared at the top, all over 2. 16 over 2 is 8, so it'll really just become 1 minus 8 theta squared. So let's take the 1 minus 8 theta squared and replace that over here. I'm going to need to resize that. Okay, that's better. And then the 1 minus the 8 theta squared, but then take away 1 a bit later, that's the 1's are going to drop out. So 1 and then minus 1 later on, that's going to just drop out. That's going to become 0. And then theta times 2 theta, that's going to be 2 theta squared. So let's replace that for 2 theta squared. Theta squared at the top, theta squared at the bottom, that will cancel out. So I'm just left with minus 8 over 2, which is equal to minus 4. So approximate answer to this would be minus 4. Join me for more on Year 2 Pure Maths in the next lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be with you and the blessings of God.